sure everyone in the audience has taken note of the significant impact of these new trends that are coming up on our supply chains. Now, I'd like to discuss volatility in prices of sponge iron. So my next question is to Saurabh ji. And consumers often express concerns about extreme price volatility in steel, driven by fluctuations in raw material costs. How can we stabilize prices? And is it possible to create a long-term contract model to ensure price consistency for steel products?
Let's look at this subject from a global perspective as to how it is being dealt with, in the bigger developed countries, or let's say China, which is probably producing half of the steel globally. So what I feel is that they answer this price fluctuations through long-term contracts, or let's say hedging mechanisms, where they have trading platforms like, let's say, the Dalian exchange, the Dalian commodity exchange, or let's say the Shanghai futures exchange, where it is a very actively traded market, and it is traded for all raw materials starting from iron ore and right up to the most, let's say up to the complete finished product segment. So they have a market which goes and is a very liquid market, and it goes runs up to even the next year. Like, for example, if you're setting in the month of September now, you will have an actively traded contract for the first quarter of 2025. So any intermediary in the channel can actually book its order book basis. So for example, I need to buy an intermediate product like pig iron or sponge iron, and I know that this is going to be the demand supply scenario, so I can start booking my contracts for the next year even today. The same is the case, it starts with iron ore, goes right up to the finished steel products. So I think there was an initiative in this direction where NCDEX had come up with a platform where billet was introduced, and I think it was a BIS billet which was introduced, but there was no active trading in that. So I'm sure with so much data now available, so much demand supply which is now being mapped, why not somebody like Bigmint and our in-house team spearhead something where they have liquidity in these markets. And I'm sure we have suppliers. The suppliers are ready, and so is the demand side. So we can all come up with a solution which could be our own Indian platform, or our comparative to the Dalian commodity exchange.
I just like to add to this question. So first of all, we need to understand how the global pricing mechanism actually works. So there is an organization called ISCO, International Organization of Security Commission, which is based out of Spain. So all the listed security organizations of the countries have to follow those regulatory norms. So in India, it is SEBI, which is fall under that. So some of the commodities, all the prices that fluctuates, so they follow those principles which has been designed by ISCO. So there are the three major important principles that actually they talk about. One, every commodity, whatever any PRA, price reporting agencies like Bigmint, Davis Index and others, so they have to follow those principles. So they have to have the methodology document. So how you are doing your price assessment. So suppose if I need to do a price assessment of sponge, let's take an example. So I need to understand the market in depth, who are the major players, who are the small players, and who are the medium skills players. So after that, I need to understand from them what are the confirmed offers and the bid. And the third is the very important to us is the trade volumes, the trade price. So we give a lot of weightage to the trade, and then to the offers and the bids, and then we compute the one particular price. So if that price, what my fellow colleague is also trying to add, if that price become the index, right? And you have the rationale behind it. So these are the confirmed trades, these are the confirmed offers, and these are the confirmed bids. The different volumes attached to it. And people start accepting it over the period of times, and and can also question to it. So as per ISCO, again, you need to keep all your records to in the back end. And all the complaints that keeps to us, I mean, most of the times when the market is very fluctuating, so some of the complaints also come to us. कि सर आपका प्राइस काफ़ी ज़्यादा आ रहा है या कम आ रहा है. So we try to understand कि उस समय मार्केट में कितना ट्रेड हो रहा है. So there are some situations when there is no trade in the market. So the best part of any price reporting agency is if that index can be very realistic to the price of the prevailing in the market, and if that price can be used in the contract. आप समझिए कि अगर आप कोई भी एज अ मैन्युफैक्चरर आप कोई भी प्रोडक्ट आप बेच रहे हैं, आप प्राइस डिस्कवरी नहीं कर सक रहे हैं. तो प्राइस डिस्कवरी बिकॉज ऑफ द डिमांड एंड द सप्लाई. वी ऑल्सो नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हेन वी डू लॉट ऑफ दिस प्राइस असेसमेंट. हम अपने सारे एनालिस्ट को डे टू डे बेसिस में बताते हैं. वी हैव टू यू हैव टू गिव आस्क द राइट क्वेश्चंस टू द पार्टिसिपेंट्स कि सर अगर आप ये प्राइस दे रहे हैं तो क्यों दे रहे हैं, व्हाट इज द रैशनल बिहाइंड इट. व्हेन द मार्केट इज डाउन, व्हेन द मार्केट इज अप, एंड व्हेन द प्राइस ऑफ आयरन ओर हैज रिड्यूस्ड, so why the prices are still remaining at the same levels? Because these questions we continue ask to them when we get the offers. You know, so there are things that you need to normalize the price, and if that index becomes very realistic, trust me, the commodities की trade बहुत अच्छे से market में prevail होते हैं, and if that get listed to any exchange, then your hedging becomes very easy. तो आपका वो price hedging आप बहुत अच्छे से normalize कर सकते हो. Unfortunately, in India, we don't have any contract of NCDX or MCX, which are PRA based. So right now, we also got ourselves ISO audited. So we are now approaching to this exchange कि आप कैसे उसको PRA based कर देंगे, so that कि वो आप ज़्यादा अच्छे से उसको hedge कर पाएंगे.
So it has to be a partnership between the industry and institutions like these, where they can actually make this happen, because it's already something which is happening world over. So we can adapt it at a very quick pace, I would say.
I'm going to a fundamental question that you raised, that raw material prices are the ones that affect the steel prices. Are not necessarily true. Steel prices can also affect the raw material prices. So right now, the way it was working till 3 months back was in India, that steel demand was very high, steel prices very, very high, high, and raw material was feeding that. Now, the demand has not gone anywhere. The demand of 6, 7%, 8% remains. The supply has gone increased suddenly because of the usual nature of capital expenditure. Yeah, all steel mills have expanded 3 years back, and now the roosters are coming to roost, right? So that at what level does the steel maker decide to reduce his production or till the demand increases? So that is also a factor which is to be understood when there is a volatility. Particularly this year's volatility, I believe, is more from demand rather than raw material supplies.
Thank you. I think there's a great idea that's come up from the session about having future contracts based on the indexes. Yeah, that's a great idea that could be followed in our market.